The Easter story, as told by Gail Forsyth-Vail. This story is from the Christian Bible. It tells of the last days of Jesus of Nazareth and what happened after his death. This version includes the open tomb and emphasizes how Jesus' followers came to terms with his death at the hands of the Roman Empire. It is a story of triumph, of love over despair, cruelty, and death.
The story of Jesus of Nazareth's death and resurrection is surrounded by many layers of theology, church history, and church tradition. The rendition that we're going to share today is the story of a prophet executed by an empire that valued the order of Pax Romana, or peace between the Roman nations, above all else, and used torture and execution to enforce that order. It is a story about followers and friends whose fear and despair were cast aside as they experienced the enduring power of Jesus' message. It is a story of rebirth and transformation that offers to Unitarian Universalists a way to understand and embrace the Christian narrative.
In the days when Pontius Pilate, the Roman ruler, ruled all of Palestine with great cruelty, there lived a Jewish prophet and teacher named Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus moved from place to place, offering hope to bring people who desperately needed reason to hope. He taught that every single person is loved by God, and that there is a place for everyone in the kingdom of heaven. He reached out to all kinds of people, including those who were hated or ignored by others. Poor people, sick people, women without husbands, and tax collectors.
Large crowds gathered to hear Jesus' message of hope and love and welcome. This made Pontius Pilate and the Romans worry that he was a dangerous troublemaker. There came a time when Jesus decided to go to Jerusalem, the big city, to challenge those in power by saying that all people were loved and worthwhile. It was a dangerous thing to do, but his message needed to be heard. On Thursday night of that week, he entered Jerusalem. He shared a meal with his friends and went with them to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray for strength and courage. There, he was arrested by Roman soldiers.
The next day, Jesus was sentenced to die, a cruel death, by being nailed to a wooden cross, which was the Roman punishment for people considered to be troublemakers. On the Friday that he was put to death, his friends all scattered, frightened that the Roman soldiers would hurt them too.
After Jesus' death, a follower named Joseph of Arimathea took his body, washed, and prepared it for burial. He placed Jesus' body in a tomb and rolled a very heavy and large stone across the entrance.
Jesus' supporters were sad beyond all words and terribly afraid. They felt hopeless. Their messenger of hope was gone from them. Jesus of Nazareth, crushed and killed by the cruel Roman Empire. What would they do?
On the third day after Jesus' death, 3 women went to the place where Jesus was buried, bringing spices to anoint his body. On the way, they talked about how difficult it would be to roll away the large, heavy stone in front of the tomb. When they got there, they found the stone rolled away and Jesus' body gone. The women ran from that place, frightened.
Not long after, Jesus' friends and supporters began to talk with one another about his teachings. They thought about his message of hope and love, that everyone belonged in the kingdom of heaven, that each of us are loved by God. They heard the reports from the women about the empty tomb, and they wondered, Sometimes when they talked about the things Jesus had said, it seemed like he was right there with them. So strong was his presence that many of the followers said Jesus had returned as a Holy Spirit. They said, as Christians do today, that Jesus was born again or resurrected.
They remembered the love that Jesus taught, and gradually they began to feel hope again. Their sadness didn't go away completely, but it faded. As they remembered Jesus, they knew deep in their hearts that love is stronger than cruelty and even stronger than death.
Jesus of Nazareth's spirit lives on as it does today. And that is the story of Easter.
Amen.